we've already answered it. Unions. Well, you know, in the capitalist system, Marxists have always been very active in, very committed to, often leaders of labor unions. It's been a natural place that Marxists go because it's an organization of the working class for the working class by definition. So Marxists have always been close to, committed to unions. But there again, then the question becomes, and this is what we started with 45 minutes ago. The reform and revolution issue surfaces right again. Are you going to be an activist pushing for a higher wage? Well, the Marxist answers, it's not a question of whether you're for that or against it. We Marxists are all for it. But it's how. How is this presented? Do you present it by saying, we, I don't know, need more for our families? Okay, that's one way to do it. Or the employer is very rich and can afford to give it. That's another way to do it. But then there's another way, which is to say, why are we in the position, doing all the work here, of having to beg for a bit more of what we produce? There's something wrong here. Why aren't we part of the apparatus that decides what to do with what we have produced? Don't we have some claim on the output that our brains and muscles help to produce? We all remember the Christmas party last year when the drunken employer got up on a wobbly chair, thanked us all for the great year this company had, and then fell off the chair. We all thought to ourselves in that nasty moment, he's thanking us for doing all the work. Let's show some thanks here, Jack. Where's the money? That part you're keeping. So the thank you is all verbal. There's no, what? I don't want your thanks. I want your company. I want to take over. This is my project. You know, if you grow up in the United States, you hear often from employers or people who have been bamboozled by them that, gee, the employer takes a risk. He deserves some extra, some profit, because he took a risk. I always found this extraordinary. He did take a risk, but so did everybody else. You idiot. What? The worker who moved into this state to get that job took a risk that the job would be there, that the job would be bearable, that the job would pay enough. Took a risk. Takes a risk every day he comes in. He doesn't know whether at the end of the day he'll be told not to show up tomorrow. He bought a house based on the risk that income would be coming. Risk everybody takes. The difference between the employer and the employee is the employee takes the risk and then somebody else makes the decisions. The employer takes a risk, but he's got all the power to shape whether that risk works out. And when he has trouble, you know where he shifts the burden? He fires the workers because he doesn't want to bear the cost of the risk he took that didn't work out. If you want to reward risk, all the workers get a piece of that. You're not the specialist on risk. Stop it. In fact, your risk is less because you're rich. You take a part of your money, you know, you lose that part. It doesn't shake you. But the worker, he has no wealth to hold back, has no savings account. The risk he takes is if he gets fired, he's lost. You're not. So don't tell me about, but if you teach in a culture all the time the absence of a Marxist perspective on the production, then you don't know these questions. You don't even know to ask them. You know, Einstein said, the hard part is the question. Once you got the question, the answer you work out. It's the question that's the hard part. The question is, why do we accept, and let me make it real personal for all of you, because Marxism is not going to go anywhere unless it's personal for all of you. Why do you, each of you sitting here, accept a system in which you go to work and you produce a surplus for some employer who decides what the hell he or she wants to do with it? And your job is to go home, not bother the employer until the next day when you come back and do that again. Why is that acceptable to you? You got rid of kings and queens and monarchy because it was unbearable to have some jerk whose achievement was to be the son of the previous jerk and was telling you what to do all the time, and you had to take your hat off when he passed in his coach, and he referred to you as his subject. We killed those people. We cut their heads off. We found it odious to have them around us. And we go to work every day where there is a king who tells you what to do, and you better take your hat off or you're fired. And then you can go and stand in line at an office downtown and hope they don't sneer at you while they give you a pittance for you to go and buy that cat food. You know, what is it? You know, why? I don't want you to ask me why I'm a Marxist. I want you to wonder why you aren't. Unless you are.